This is Cruise Radio.
I cruise a lot, and I always sail with travel insurance. You should, too. Get a free quote today at tripinsurance.com.
Broadcasting from the tripinsurance.com studios in Jacksonville, Florida.
This is
Cruise Radio.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Doug Parker. Thank you so much for checking out this episode of Cruise Radio. Very happy to have you here, my friend. A review of the MSC Seashore today. Plus, Richard Sims is here with Cruise News. Hey, Richard.
And as always, by here, we mean Woodstock for me, but it's time for our weekly game of Where in the World is Doug Parker? Where are you today?
I am in Genoa, Italy.
The life of a bon vivant.
Yeah, right. So jumping straight to news here, we had a busy weekend or a busy Friday at Port Canaveral, including 6 different passengers being arrested.
I have to say the sheriff of Brevard County had a lot of fun with this. I get the feeling he does that a lot, but he basically was saying that the people who were arrested still got to go on vacation, but they were just doing it in the Iron Bar Lounge kind of thing. One of the people arrested is actually facing murder charges. So Martel Murray and his cabin mate were taken into custody. He was wanted on a warrant for violating his release conditions with regard to a pending murder charge. His friend was arrested on a warrant regarding violating their probation. Separately, 2 other passengers were arrested, one on a failure to appear warrant and another for violating their probation. And then 2 other passengers were arrested for violating their probation, apparently by leaving the country without getting permission from the probation officers. I kind of think a lot of people don't realize that when you go on a cruise, there's a manifest and that manifest gets checked. That's why you're not allowed to get on board at the last minute or buy a ticket, the day before it sails, because they have to go through and do all these checks. And when they do, a lot of these things like outstanding warrants and violations and probations and things that will get you arrested come up. And yeah, your vacation takes a turn that you probably weren't expecting.
And next up is a story that is both horrific and a reminder why travel insurance is so important.
This is one of those stories where it turns out seeing isn't necessarily believing. I saw the video long before I read the actual story. It was video of a Louisiana resident named Kirsten Lindsay, and she had an accident while on a shore excursion in Honduras, and it went viral. And at first glance, what happens looks, awkward and maybe painful, but it doesn't seem like the kind of thing that would lead to catastrophic injuries. She and her boyfriend, Blake, were on a Carnival cruise and they took an excursion and they went on a rope swing kind of thing. But something goes really wrong because it looks like the retrieval rope that they use to pull it back to where you jump off from got stuck and wound up between her legs, and she's hanging in the air for a moment, and then she kind of turns upside down and lets go. You can even hear her saying after she hits the water that she's fine. If it ended there, someone would probably put funny music under it, like the Benny Hill theme or something, and it would have gone viral, but for a funny reason. But it turns out that it was no laughing matter, because over the next several hours, the true extent of her injuries became obvious. She spent hours in the ship's medical center. She eventually needed to be evacuated by air. They flew to Fort Lauderdale, where she underwent one surgery. Then, upon returning home to Louisiana, she underwent a second surgery. Obviously, all of this has racked up an enormous medical bill. I mean, just the cost of taking a private plane from Fort Lauderdale to Louisiana, or from where they were in Mexico to Fort Lauderdale, crazy expensive. Not to mention the expenses of visiting a medical center on board, which it was $3,500 in charges there, without adding the cost of the personnel, the cost of the medication, the treatments. So obviously a huge bill. In fact, they have created a GoFundMe page in order to try and recoup some of the expenses. It's going to be well over $50,000 when all is said and done. And again, this is why we always, 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 always say to make sure you have travel insurance. The hope is that you never need it. And, some people look at it and say, oh, well, then I'm just throwing money away because I probably am not going to need it. But accidents happen. That's why they're called accidents. And if they do, yeah, Expenses can accumulate quickly, and you really want to have not only a travel insurance policy, but a good one that you know what it covers. Like, you want to make sure it covers if you get airlifted off of a ship. We see it all the time, a helicopter coming out and lifting someone off. That costs like 25, 30 grand. So you want to make sure you have a good travel insurance policy before you step foot on that ship.
And next up comes a report that a third of passengers on board a ship off the coast of Alaska were diagnosed with what sounds a lot like norovirus.
They say bad things come in threes, and that seems to be the case for the National Geographic ship Seabird, because not only have 18 of the 62 passengers who were on board this last sailing, they came down with an illness involving abdominal cramps and vomiting. It hasn't yet been determined that it was norovirus, but it certainly sounds like it. But this is the third time the ship that has had this problem since May. At least one passenger was so sick that he felt he could not travel any further and wound up disembarking in order to stay in a hotel. Now, according to Cruise Law News, 7 of the last 11 voyages on the Seabird have had cases of norovirus or something similar unfold on board. The Cruise Law goes on to say that passengers received a letter, and this is kind of unbelievable, a letter saying, and I quote, "Gastrointestinal illness has been heightened across Alaska's travel season this year." There's more to the letter, but you know what's not in this letter? Any mention of the fact that it has been unfolding on their ship. Like, it's not like a warning letter saying, listen, we're doing advanced cleaning because there's been outbreaks on the last couple sailings, and your safety is very important to us. It does talk about how they are undertaking advanced cleaning, and it does talk about how norovirus has been breaking out in Alaska this season, but they don't warn their passengers that there have been several sailings before this that had on this ship that had a norovirus outbreak. I'm not a lawyer and I don't play one on television, but that seems really sketchy to me. That seems like the kind of thing that if I got on that ship and I got norovirus and I got really sick and I had hospital expenses attached to it, like if I'm this guy who got off the ship and went to a hotel, I would be suing them for not warning us in advance that they knew this condition had unfolded. I mean, it's not like it happened months and months and months ago. It's been 3 sailings, since May. There definitely should have been more, including the sailing before this one, I should add. So there definitely should have been more warning as to what was going on. But hey, that's just my 5 cents that nobody cares about.
Meanwhile, a gross viral video has prompted a response from Carnival Cruise Line.
The video is so disgusting. By now, you've probably seen it, but it shows a woman in the main dining room, and she's got her sandals off, and she is using a fork from the table to scratch her foot. And I mean, not just scratch it. She digs in there, and it goes on and on. Like, every time you think she's got to be done, she keeps on scratching her bare foot with the fork. I will be honest, I did not expect Carnival to respond to the video, but I think it went so viral and grossed out so many people that they felt the need to. So there's a message that was posted to their Facebook page that says, well, I'm just going to read it. This is a quote, and the rest of what I'm about to say is a quote from them. "Hi, Carnival cruisers. We can confirm that forks are intended for food, not foot care. Once we became aware of the situation, our team quickly addressed it with the guest and removed the utensil from service. While the video may be generating laughs and gasps online, cleanliness and hygiene are no joke to us. Our crew works hard every day to maintain high standards across our feet," and then they cross off feet and type fleet, "and to ensure all guests enjoy a safe, clean, and comfortable vacation. See you on board." Now, back to me. That's the end of the quote. That's the end of their post. I have to say, I think it's a great response. It's cheeky, but it addresses the issue, lets them have a little bit of fun with it. I have sometimes in the past been critical of the way Carnival responds to, kind of things that could be a little bit touchy or that could be PR nightmares. But in this case, I think they nailed it. I think it was smart of them. They could have ignored it, which I don't think would have been smart. But instead, they put out a response that was funny and addressed the concerns of people. It's not going to stop those who are like, see, this is what's wrong with cruise ships. They're just, gross and everybody on them is gross. They're not going to be able to stop that. But at least they leaned into it and had some fun with it and have turned what could be a bad PR situation into a more positive one.
We're talking about a cruise line doing something positive for one of the communities they visit.
I love this story. So I will admit, I do not understand part of this. So, the Treasury has stopped minting new pennies. And so many businesses have been sort of trying to figure out what to do with all their excess pennies. I don't get it because they're still legal tender, but I guess they have basically fallen out of favor. Nobody wants pennies anymore. So Holland America and Princess Cruises each have 6 ships sailing in Alaska this season. On those ships, they gathered up all of the excess pennies. We're talking literally hundreds of pounds of them from departments like the casino and guest services, and did that thing that I used to hate doing when I was a kid. They counted them out and they rolled them the whole 9 yards, and then they took those pennies and donated the resulting $5,000 along with a cash donation to Scouting America. Now, here's a fun fact. That's the name that the organization formerly known as the Boy Scouts of America now goes by. They are now Scouting America. That's something I did not know until this story came up. But kudos to everybody involved in this. I think that's such a cool idea. I don't know what happens if you're on one of these ships and you need a penny, but I don't know, maybe they round everything up. No idea.
And I'm sure the cruise line got a nice tax deduction as well.
Oh, you're so cynical. That's usually my job. Listeners know that I am the cynic, not you. You are the world traveler, and I'm the one who stays put and gets cynical.
I think I'm just tired. All right, man. Well, I think that'll wrap it up. No listener questions. If you have a question, though, send it to us. Comments at cruiseradio.net. As always, Richard. Hope to be back in Jacksonville next time we talk, but if not, see you on the road, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. We'll play another edition.
Have a tip or a lead on a news story? Let us know. Email tips@cruiseradio.net.
A big question we get at Cruise Radio is, how do I know if I need trip insurance? Simple answer. If you're getting on a plane, taking a road trip, or getting on a cruise ship, you need to have travel insurance. Hey, it's Doug Parker from my friends at tripinsurance.com. Not only does tripinsurance.com protect your vacation investment, but it also gives you peace of mind in case anything were to go wrong on your trip. How do they do it? They offer 3 different types of trip insurance policies. Good, better, and best. One policy for every vacation budget. But it doesn't just stop there. They're up to 40% lower when you shop around on other comparison sites. Plus, tripinsurance.com offers 24-hour customer support before, during, and after your trip, online claims assistance, and travel alerts to let you know what's going on at your destination. But find out for yourself. Check out tripinsurance.com. Anne and her family just returned from a 4-night cruise on the MSC Seashore out of Port Canaveral. It went down to the Bahamas and back, and she joins us to talk all about it. What made you want to take this little 4-nighter out of Port Canaveral?
We have a special needs son. He's an adult. He's 28. He functions more like a 10-year-old, and he does not live with us. We talk to him just about every day, and he asked us if we could take him to see the Caribbean Ocean. And we thought, we could get on a cruise and we wouldn't have to get on a plane. He lives in the Atlanta area. We're in Hilton Head Island. And it would be an easy way, even though the Bahamas is not technically the Caribbean, it would be an easy way to spend time with him and show him what's kind of like the Caribbean.
Awesome. Very cool. Now, since you're in Hilton Head, it's about, what would you say, 6 or so hour drive down to Port Canaveral from there?
Oh, not even.
No?
It was only 4 hours.
Wow. Okay.
And we did do a pre-cruise hotel.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what kind of pre-cruise night did you do and anything before you boarded the ship?
So we booked Town Place Suites right there in Port Canaveral. And it's a fairly new hotel. It was really, really nice. I have Marriott Rewards points, and I was able to get it completely that first night for just the Marriott Rewards points. We got there mid-afternoon, and we decided that we'd go see the terminal, the ships, the port terminal, and see the cruise ships. Because when we were coming in, we saw a Disney ship and we saw an MSC ship and Carnival. And we thought that would be fun to have our dinner down there. By the time we checked into the hotel and put our stuff down and drove back to the terminal, all the ships had sailed. So we turned around. Right by the hotel is a really nice little Italian restaurant. And we had a great meal there and just came back and, crashed in our room and then took the shuttle. At the hotel, they do have cruise parking for a fee. So we did the cruise parking and we took the shuttle from the hotel to the cruise port.
So you make your way to the cruise port. Now, you are a Yacht Club. So was there any kind of priority embarkation? And how long did it take you to get from the curb to the ship?
Yes, there was priority embarkation. It was so cool. It was so much fun. The shuttle pulled in right by the Yacht Club tent. And when they found out that we were Yacht Club, the porters there, they were like, okay, we'll put your bags right there. And another porter said, come with me. And he took us right to where we check in. We went up an escalator and they took us to like a Yacht Club specific lounge. After we went through the security, which was really quick, we at the top of the escalator, we were there and walked right through and, no time at all. I would say maybe 20 minutes tops. They did check us in the Yacht Club specific lounge in the terminal and gave us our bands. You have like a wristband to wear. And, then they say a butler will take you in, but it was actually one of the ship's jewelry salespeople who took us in. He was dressed in a suit and everything and took us right in. And he was carrying a bag, like a shopping bag that said the name of the jewelry store. And I said, oh, did you bring me jewelry? And he said, actually, yes. He gave me and all the women he was bringing on the ship a little gold-colored bracelet and said that we could get a charm every day if we came to see him. So yeah, it didn't really take any time at all. It was just, 1, 2, 3. The most time was just moving from one place to another, but there was no holdups anywhere.
Now, because this was your first time on MSC, I do want to get your first impressions, but I want to ask you first, like when the jewelry, the butler, when they bring you on board, whoever it is on the sailing, do they take you through a back way, or do you get to have like the first impressions of the ship right when you walk across the gangway?
In Port Canaveral, they take you right on the ship, on the gangway, just like every other passenger, although you pass all the passengers who are not Yacht Club. They just kind of like, they're off to one side and you're passing them in the fast lane. So when we got on the ship, there were a lot of crew members and the MSC, I think his name is Do Re Mi, the MSC Sun guy, the mascot. But they were clapping and cheering, and that was really kind of cool. We walked through that main entryway very quickly and went right to the Yacht Club lounge. So I didn't really get a first impression of the main part of the ship. They sat us in the Yacht Club lounge where they gave us more drinks and more snacks, and we waited for our butler.
All right, well, let's talk about the Yacht Club first. So what were your first impressions of the Yacht Club, talking about whether it be the lounge you were waiting in or the public areas within the Yacht Club? And you mentioned a wristband. Does that like an access key to get in and out of the Yacht Club?
It is. It's kind of a rubbery blue wristband, and most people do wear it in Yacht Club. I know there was someone who said he didn't want to wear it, so he just kept it in his pocket. Plus, you can use your room key if you don't want to wear the wristband. But the Yacht Club was just spectacular. I mean, it was breathtaking, beautiful. They have the Swarovski crystal stairs in the Yacht Club lounge that goes up to the restaurant. Everyone's, all the crew there seems so wonderful and welcoming. And genuinely happy to welcome us and see us and take care of us. It was just really a wonderful feeling. And the food was amazing right from the start, right from the little snacks that they gave us while we waited for our butler.
What kind of stateroom did you book in the Yacht Club? Or I guess what kind of suite did you book, I should say? And what were your impressions throughout the 4 nights?
Yeah. So in Yacht Club, you can actually book an interior suite.
Okay.
But we booked what's called a deluxe balcony, which is the next level up from the interior suite. And having cruised on other ships, I was just amazed at how spacious this balcony stateroom was. It was huge for an entry level, more or less, Yacht Club stateroom. And I'd looked at it online. I'd seen YouTube videos and all, and I was like, it's okay. But when you see it in person, it's very striking. It's very beautiful in a subtle, subdued way. It's, all grays and neutrals and calm, but huge, just massive for the size that I thought it would be.
Nice. As far as it being up to date with like plugs and technology and space for the 3 of y'all, how was it?
So my son loves to be on his iPhone. He's always got to have that going with his, he watches little kid shows. He watches, he likes the PBS learning shows. So he always has to have a charge. And there was plenty of plugs for the 3 of us. Having said that, there weren't like an over amount of outlets, but by the bed, there was one set of outlets on one side and not another set of outlets on the other. And they were both European and American and USB. And then there was another USB plug and, just plain electricity, European and American, over by the pull-out couch, which is where my son slept, on the pull-out couch.
So it sounds like it was a pretty spacious room for the 3 of you then.
It was. Yeah, we were not crowded at all.
So we're going to do is pivot here and talk about dining. So I guess I'll have to ask you first. So did you do most of your dining in the Yacht Club area, or did you go down to the buffet at all during the voyage?
We did not go to the buffet.
Okay.
We did most of it at the Yacht Club. However, we did do a specialty dining restaurant. We did Ola Cantina, which I'd heard fabulous things about. We did it for lunch, I think the first day. And we also, I dined at the Yacht Club restaurant on Ocean Key, the private island.
Did they have the special there when you were? I know that sometimes on the first day they have it's either all you can eat for $15 or something like that inside there, or were you doing like a la carte?
We did a la carte. They did offer the all you can eat. It's more than $15 now. I'm thinking it was $18, if I remember correctly. But we did a la carte. None of us are really big eaters, so we didn't really see a value in doing the all you could eat. I actually cannot eat red meat, and I got something that I got, I'm trying to think of what it was, a queso or a quesadilla, that tasted like it had pork in it. So I kind of freaked out and left. My husband, my son stayed and finished the food and said it was fantastic. But one of the things that was amazing to me was I went up to the Yacht Club restaurant and ate lunch there instead. And my husband said that they were very, very concerned that I thought that they may have served me meat when I couldn't eat meat. And the chef actually came out with 3 little like ramekins of the chicken, the pork, and the beef to show me. And she was really disappointed when I left. So she couldn't show me that it really was chicken that they gave me. I mean, that was really nice of them to do that,
Yeah, no,
I've never had anyone in a restaurant take that concern and consideration before.
Did you go to any other like nighttime specialty dining venues, or was it the only place you went to outside of the Yacht Club?
That was the only place we went to outside of the Yacht Club.
And how was the dining inside the Yacht Club? I know you said it was great service and everything. Was the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, was the food there? Did the menu change at all, or was it basically set through your voyage?
The food changed every meal. I think breakfast pretty much had the same things, although I can't remember for sure.
Mm-hmm.
There was something different every day for lunch, a different menu every night for dinner. The food was phenomenal. It was so good. And my husband is a foodie. He was super pleased with the food. But the other thing that he was super pleased about was the sommelier there. From the very first night, the sommelier came over and started to talk to my husband about wine. And my husband's really into wine. And the sommelier was giving my husband all these different recommendations from hearing what my husband liked. And my husband's John. John was like, each time, oh, Mr. B is great. Mr. B, I can't wait to see Mr. B again tonight. I can't wait to see what he's going to recommend. And sometimes he would show up at lunch and recommend things. And in Yacht Club, you get the highest drink package included. So it was wonderful because pretty much everything was included as far as the alcohol. And when the sommelier did recommend some wine that was over the package, we only paid the difference. We didn't pay the full amount.
Okay. So does the package like go up to say $15 or $20 and any overage is what you're responsible for that?
Correct. I believe it's $16 and anything over $16 you pay.
Not bad at all. So let's talk about the ship outside of the Yacht Club and as far as the entertainment throughout the voyage. Did you get to see any good shows? I know we were chatting before the interview and you love theater. So did you get to check out any of the presentations?
We did. We went to the main theater every night and my husband and my son absolutely loved it. There was no way anybody was going to miss one of those shows. And when you're in Yacht Club, the butler will take you down to the show, which I know a lot of people were saying, why do we need an escort? We don't need an escort, but it's really nice because they walk you right to the front. They get you right in and there's a roped off part of the theater that is for Yacht Club guests only. And there's a butler on either side of those rows so that you have to show your Yacht Club band or your Yacht Club key to be able to sit in those rows. The entertainment was, from my point of view, good. It was not what I've seen on some of the other like Royal Caribbean or a Celebrity or, it's not that level. But it was definitely entertaining. They're not super long shows, maybe 45 minutes. So it's easy to sit through, even if, like, to me, they weren't high theater. But since my husband, my son loved them so much, it was a fun thing to do. And to see how happy it made them was great.
Did you notice through the voyage, was it mostly a North American audience or was it kind of a mixed culture on board? It
was mostly North American. Okay. There were some, I did hear a few other languages, but for the most part, I would say it was North American.
Yeah, the reason why I asked you is because like with their stage productions sometimes, and it's kind of hard for them to have comedians on board when they have a sailing with a lot of different languages. But how about any music around the ship? Did you catch any?
So in Yacht Club, they do have a pianist who comes in and plays, and that was nice background music. I didn't really pay too much attention to it, but it was pleasant. There was one point where I just wanted to explore the ship a little. And in that main huge atrium that's multi-leveled, they had somebody playing steel drums, and they were really rocking them. It sounded great. In fact, I took a little video of it because it sounded so good.
Does the Yacht Club feel like it's your own personal yacht club?
It does. Cool. It feels so spacious, so not crowded. It's. I mentioned to you that we were Silversea cruisers before, and it felt even less crowded than Silversea, and Silversea feels very laid back and uncrowded. This was even less crowded. It was just amazing. There was always room, always chairs. The deck chairs had nice thick cushions on them. There were bartenders up there. There was a bar up there on the pool deck, and you could just walk right up and get a drink immediately. There was no waiting for anything. The pool grill, there was no waiting. There was a lot of good food in the pool grill. There was some Indian food and, oh gosh, I'm trying to think what else. There was just a lot of really, really good different foods up at the pool grill, but like there was never a crowd or a line for anything.
So the sea days, or I guess I should say sea day, how was it as far as crowds and congestion outside of the yacht club and around the ship?
It was pretty crowded from my point of view. And one thing, we were on deck 16. Yacht Club goes deck 16, 18, and 19, and 20 is the pool deck. There is no deck 17. It's unlucky in Italian culture, so they don't have a deck 17. But when you go out deck 16, the jungle pool is right there on the other side of the public elevator bank. And it was steamy, and there was always a crowd of people who were coming or going to the jungle pool, and, you know, a lot of dripping and humidity and wet, and just a lot of people.
Glad you had the yacht club then at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Did you go to the casino at all? If so, or if you walked by it, did you notice the smoke situation in or around it, or they might even be non-smoking at this point?
I don't know if they're non-smoking or not. I don't gamble, but I did walk through the casino. I just kind of wanted to explore the ship a little, and there was absolutely no smoke. Okay.
That's good to hear. Let's talk about the ports of call on this 4-night cruise. So you leave Port Canaveral. Which was your first one, and what would y'all do there?
So our first port was their private island, Ocean Key or Ocean Cay, depending on how you want to pronounce CAY. It was phenomenal. On Ocean Key, there is a special Yacht Club only place, and you get off the ship and you go right over to the Yacht Club tent, and they put you on a kind of a stretch golf cart and take you over there. And they have the lounge chairs, the beach chairs there, and umbrellas, and the Yacht Club, the restaurant. It's an actual physical, real restaurant. And when you get set up on the lounge chairs, they have the butlers get off the ship and they serve you. And your drinks package is still good there. So they're constantly going by saying, here's a towel. Do you want a bottle of water? Would you like a drink? You know, and they circulate very frequently.
Was the Yacht Club menu an extension of what was served on the ship, or was it a little bit different in that dining room there?
It was different. I think it's specific to that restaurant. One of the big things that everyone was saying was so great was the lobster roll. So I had the lobster roll. It was really good. There was also some kind of fish, grilled fish there that I saw someone else have. And it wasn't your usual kind of fish. It was, I don't know. It wasn't like tuna steak. It wasn't salmon. It was something else. And it looked good too. But yeah, it was really good food there too.
What did your son think of the island?
At the beginning, I told you my son has a lot of medical issues. And unfortunately, he had a seizure that morning. And so he pretty much slept until about 2:00 that afternoon. So I spent the day on the island myself while my husband stayed with my son. And then I went back, and they said that they were just going to walk around the pool deck when he woke up, because he really, really wanted to see the shows. He loved the shows, and he didn't want to possibly miss going out on the island and missing the show.
You leave Ocean Key, and your next port of call is what?
Nassau. So we've been to Nassau before, and and since then they've changed the port. They've, I guess, updated it and, you know, modernized it and done great things to it. But we decided that we would stay on the ship. And my husband, part of Yacht Club, one of the benefits is you get access to the spa. My son wasn't feeling great that morning. And I said to my husband, well, you know, I got my day on Ocean Key, so you go do what you want to do. And he did the fitness center and the spa, the thermal spa. And he came back that afternoon and was like, oh my gosh, the fitness center is amazing. They have the best machines. And then he was saying how great the spa was and all the different things that they have a snow room on the ship. Nice. So you can go in the hot thermal water and then cool off in the snow room.
Did you go into it at all or take a little walkthrough or tour just to see the facilities?
Okay. The funny thing is, I know it's mostly women who are like, oh, I love the spa. And the men who are like, my husband was the one who, when he came back, he said, you have to go to the spa. And I'm like, I don't really want to go to the spa. And he's like, no, you have. He made me go to the spa.
Just go look at it.
What's it called? The callback time in Nassau, where you have to get back on the ship, was early. So by the time I went to the spa, everybody was back on the ship. He got it. Well, everyone was in port and there was no one in the spa. I went and the spa was pretty crowded.
Yeah.
So I just kind of took a tour. I didn't really get in the thermal spa, or I walked into the snow room and I saw the snow and I saw the salt room. There's also a salt room, and nice. I didn't do anything because it was just too packed.
Yeah, part of me wonders, like 5.5 million people went to Nassau in 2024, cruise passengers. And part of me wonders, like, how many of that 5.5 million just stayed on the ship and made it like an extra sea day, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll tell you, that's the way to do it. Stay on the ship. With a ship like this, that's in the general part of the ship, it gets pretty crowded. It's so nice to be able to explore and just see the ship without all those people on it.
So you leave Nassau and you make your way back to Port Canaveral. How was the debark process being in the Yacht Club?
I was actually a little worried about that because I knew that wherever we went, we had a butler who would escort us. And I thought, well, when we get off the ship, we're not going to have that. But it actually was pretty good. In Yacht Club, they encourage you to have breakfast in the Yacht Club restaurant first. So we did that. And then you just let your butler know when you're done with breakfast. And the butler walked us through the ship, like up a flight of stairs and then across the ship and down an elevator, so that we were avoiding people. It was pretty amazing. And then he took us right to the front of the line and said goodbye to us. And we walked out and I thought, oh gosh, now our luggage is just going to be with everyone's luggage. But there's actually a separate place for the Yacht Club luggage that we were able to see ours and pick it up quickly. And we just walked through, like they said, welcome back. And that was it. It was very quick, very easy.
If you had to guess, how long would you say it took you from the ship to the curb?
Probably about 10 to 15 minutes. Wow. It was nothing.
That's nice. And are they doing the facial recognition there for when you get back into okay. Well, you're off the cruise ship. Well, I guess let me ask you this, because you took a shuttle, you said. So taking a shuttle back to the property to get back to your vehicle, was there a shuttle waiting for you, or did you have to wait a little while to board?
There was a shuttle waiting for us. So we got on the shuttle, but then we waited longer for more people. They wanted the shuttle to be full before they took it. And the shuttle that the Town Place Suites uses shares with some other places. So, they gotcha. Filled that shuttle up. That's what took the longest time.
Gotcha. Any first-time tips to offer anyone who may be considering sailing MSC Seashore or going over to Ocean Key?
Absolutely. I'd say if you can afford it, try Yacht Club, because I think it's the best value out there for what you get with the included drinks package, included Wi-Fi. I didn't even talk about the elevators they call it something else, but it's like express access. So you scan your Yacht Club wristband and push the floor you want. And that elevator is for you and only you. Everybody gets off when the doors open. You get on and the elevator takes you directly to the floor you want. There's no stopping and picking up anyone else, which is actually very beneficial on a ship that size and that crowded. There were just so many pluses to Yacht Club that it's so worth it. As far as Ocean Key goes, the Yacht Club, if you do Yacht Club, the beach there is probably the worst beach because it's very rocky. You absolutely need those shoes that you can wear in the water because there's no way you could walk in the water without them. But directly across, like if you walk off the beach and cross over the little pathway, there's another non-yacht club beach that is beautiful. The waves aren't as rough and it's bigger. And so you can actually be on the yacht club beach and get your drinks and everything. And when you want to go swim or snorkel, just cross over that path to the other beach.
Now, looking back, what was the biggest highlight of this cruise for y'all?
I have to say it was seeing how happy my son was with the shows, going to see these shows. He was just mesmerized by the shows. And then the other thing was seeing how happy my husband was interacting with the sommelier. That was the highlight of his trip. I just love to see, the people around me be happy. I'm generally a happy person. You can put me anywhere and I'll make the best of it. To see other people around me enjoying themselves so much was wonderful. And we've booked another one exactly like this one, but with my husband's brother and sister for April.
Nice. So you feel that the cruise offered a good value for what you paid?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. No question. And they do the status matching, which is wonderful. We went in, we didn't have huge status, but we went in with some status and we booked our next cruise on board and got 5% plus 5% off that cruise because of the status matching. Oh, and also if you do book a cruise on board, if you're in Yacht Club, they have their own future cruise desk in Yacht Club. Yeah.
Man. Yeah, I have yet to do Yacht Club, but I've done the Haven on NCL, but never the Yacht Club. And I've done quite a few interviews now of MSC Yacht Club experiences over the past couple of years. And it sounds like I really got to try it out.
You absolutely do. Although I know I've heard some people say, don't spread the word around because they're going to raise their prices.
Exactly. Final thoughts of the MSC Seashore.
It's amazing. It's a big ship with a lot of the fun stuff that, big ships have that the small ships don't have. But if you do Yacht Club, you get the best of all worlds.
I love it. We've been talking with Anne about her 4-night cruise on MSC Seashore in the Yacht Club from Port Canaveral. Anne, thank you so much for sharing this with us. We sure appreciate you.
Well, thank you, Doug. I appreciate you and hearing your podcast and seeing you on YouTube.
All right, Dougie, let's see what we got for you, buddy. Cruise Radio is produced at the tripinsurance.com studios in Jacksonville, Florida. Get cruise news, ship reviews, and money-saving tips every Thursday on Cruise Radio. If you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the show. If you want to help spread the word, give Cruise Radio a 5-star review. Find Cruise Radio where you listen to your favorite podcast or online at cruiseradio.net. I'm your announcer,